The prerequisite of look ahead is that you see a pair, then you can do blindfolded without having to think how to split up the pair and insert it. The concept of look ahead is actually very simple. You have this pair, and while doing that pair, you see this pair, so you just predict where it is and do the pair. This eliminates the pauses and make you faster. Another example here, you have this pair and this edge at the back. So while doing it, this piece gets taken out and you can just predict where it goes and transition into it pauselessly. The basic idea of look ahead is just that simple. Next, I'll provide some tips to help you get better at it. Keep in mind you cannot look ahead turning as fast as you can. You can't see nothing. Unless you're world class, you'll miss this pair and this pair. If you're still going at your top TPS, without considerable practice, you won't see anything. That's why the best way to practice look ahead is just turn slower and try to find the next pair before finishing executing your current pair. This will make your F2O pause this. Some people like to do wide twos when they can't see anything in the top layer. Instead, you should tilt the cubes from side to side to see more pieces. Since there are no pieces in top layer, these has to be F2O pieces. So we can take them out and just do this pair. While doing it, we see that, so we can just transition into doing this pair. So you have this F2O, you do this free pair, like this. Now you notice this pair. This pair requires you to rotate to insert, but you have two options. You can either rotate here, or you can rotate here. Now which one is better? Rotate so the pair you're doing is inserted into the back slot. That way you have your front slot open and you can see more pieces in top layer or in the slot. And now you can see this piece, so transition. Say you have a front pair and a back pair. Which one to do first? You should do the back pair first because this allows you to see more pieces in the front and allows you to transition better. If you are choosing which pair to insert first, here are a ranking of all the possible F2O situations. The worst case, you have two back slots. This makes it very hard to look ahead because you can hardly see any pieces. Second worst case you can get is diagonal slot. This case is bad because you can never rotate, so both slots are in the front. There's always one in the back that makes look ahead hard. A better case would be two left slot filled. This way you can only look at left side of the cube and it's not so bad. Even better is two right slot because you can do righty move and that's faster for a right-handed person. But the best case still is two front slot open because look ahead is very easy. Something I found helpful when you start inserting into back slots, for example you have this F2O, and notice now you're inserting into front slot, so you can just pair them up and then U2 insert. If you're inserting into back slot though, you should pair them up, do U and do U2 insert. This is because if you still pair them up like you do in front slot, U2 and insert, this will have this awkward move, which is slower than just U2. A more advanced technique during F2O would be EO. So how it works is that you check the side color of the edge, and if it matches one of the side center, this edge is good. If it matches the front or back center, however, this edge is bad. So bad edges require rotation to insert, and as I said, you should rotate so it's a back slot. This method is quite advanced and will be slow at first. Don't expect yourself to instantly master it. EO is good because it instantly lets you know if you need to rotate or not. Another advanced concept is called bookmarking. When you're doing this pair, you saw this and this flipped edge in place. So you made a mistake and you rotate to front slot. Now you see this corner right here, and because you know the edge is just back there, so you can just transition into that pair. During cross, you can also look at your first pair by tracing them. A more advanced form of tracing pieces is called cross plus one, where you just predict where the pair go before executing. Keep in mind cross plus one is useless if you don't look ahead to second pair while doing it. A useful practice for look ahead is called turbo tracking, which I first learned in one of Brody the Cuber's videos. Basically, you pick two pieces like a pair, then try not to lose track of it while doing random moves on a cube. Turbo tracking is useful because it simulates what you usually do in an F2O pair. You just track the next pair while doing your current pair. There's another practice you can do called Felix drill, where you do the cross first, Then you find 2 pair. Then you blindfold yourself and do the 2 pairs. Now you look for another 2 pair and blindfold yourself while doing them. Now you finish off whatever you like. Keep in mind, your look ahead is not going to improve if you continue to turn at your top TPS. As everyone around you probably say to you, do slow solves. It actually works. Over time, bit by bit, you'll be able to look ahead at this TPS. Look ahead is most people's only barrier to sub 15, so start practicing as soon as you can.